Um, all right, I think we're good. Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello, hello, hello. Let's see that it's going good and all that. And let me look on the good old Facebook. See if it's on. Yep, it shows live. We're good. We're there.
Hey.
There we are. There we are. I'll edit this part out.
Right.
So, guys, welcome in. Again, if you are, let me move my chat so I can see you guys. I'm going to move it on. Hi, Nancy. Hey,
Hi,
Julie.
guys.
All right. So, if you are jumping in here, we cannot see who you are unless you say who you are or you accept Restream to let you know and or to let us know. And this is being uh, broadcasted on Twitter and Twitch. And I'm not going to say everywhere else because will kick my butt. But it is on some different places, including YouTube. And then it's being recorded. And so
It's all right.
um, she's got it. Because one
It's
day
all
we'll be
right.
on TV doing it, Revel. So,
I know, right?
I mean, on the bus. We'll be doing it on the bus. We'll
Right.
be doing it on the bus. Hey, guys. Thanks for coming in. So, tonight, first of all, this is higher self. So, if you're new watching, this is Higher Self. This is a talk show that we specialize and enjoy talking about the use of cannabis and mental health, spiritual health, and anything else that has to do with life, really. The benefits, the pros and cons, good, bad, and ugly. It's important to kind of bring that to the surface for me, especially with the United States bouncing back and forth and all over the planet on telling us how we can use our actual herbs that are, just naturally available. So, higher self is about all that. Tonight, we are talking about cannabis use and sensuality, sexuality, what it does to your brain to help or not help, right? Or to not allow you to do some things. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things, and I was going to kind of start off first. Charlie's helping me out tonight, and talk to you a little bit about some of the history. I know Rebel has some things as well, but I did pull some information about the history that marijuana and sex have been used together for a very long time, not just for like you and I, but we're talking about ancient civilizations and things like that, and not always by the people initially that you would be suspect of. So, marijuana and sex are gifts of nature, right? We all like, well, I won't say we all like them, but I do. Rebel, what about you?
I do.
I do. I do. So we enjoy them because biology and evolution have equipped us to do so, and it affects our brains in a very specific way. Uh, being high and sexually aroused both produce similar psychological and physiological responses, such as increased heart rate, heightened sensitivity, changes in blood flow, respiration, and relaxation, and acutely alter our state of consciousness, our neurochemistry, hormonal systems, and brain regions, such as the different lobes that are affected by sexual arousal and marijuana. It has been used for thousands of years to decrease sexual desire as well as increase it. And there's a lot of variables there. So, some ancient sacred texts, because you guys know I like to throw some history in there, reveal how to use or for thousands of years, they've been used to decrease sexual desire. Ancient sacred texts reveal how to use marijuana to increase pleasure, but modern research teaches us equally important lessons. Its effects are determined by personality, psychology, intention, environment, and culture. In ancient India, the culture of ancient India is associated a lot, actually, with sexual marijuana use. Cannabis has been used in India for at least 3,000 years, maybe even longer. The Indian Ayurvedic and the Unani Tibi, medicine systems use cannabis to increase libido, conquer impotence, as well as do the opposite and give impotence, and cure various diseases. These symptoms are also utilized. Sometimes they use opium, sometimes they will use mushrooms, as well as combination of cannabis. But tonight we're just talking about cannabis. So dozens of formulations and different strains of cannabis were prescribed as aphrodisiacs for anyone that has had these struggles. So I find that it's just very interesting that it is not just something that popped up randomly right now, right? It's been around forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And it's just always become a legality topic, really, within our culture. And if you do it, there's those stigmas that are tied to it a lot of the time. So that's kind of where higher self comes in. We want to kind of diminish some of those stigmas because you're talking about ancient history, right? And no one has any issues with ancient history, right? And one day we'll be ancient history if we're lucky enough to keep the planet around that long. so, 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 what you think, Rebel?
I like it. Like I said, I have a note here that it's always been an aphrodisiac for many centuries as well. So I do believe that it was something that was, that has been around and actually cherished for a long
Mm-hmm.
time.
I think so too. I think that I think the people before us that utilized all the plants for medicinal qualities had a lot of secrets that we don't have or we're not allowed to have.
Right.
Right. So, what do you have for us today on strains and things like that, or
Um, I
information?
have I have some tips here. That the with the growing research, it said that it enhances not only sensitivity but that reception to that intimate touch. And we all know that a lot of times it will relieve anxiety, it will relieve depression, things of those natures. It will also help to kind of like take those mental woes and kind of make you be able to focus so you
Calm
can
your
get down
tits.
to business.
Calm your
It kind of,
tits.
yeah, yeah.
Calm your tits.
They say that it does help boost libido, the actual arousal part of it, as well as the big O. Um, it not only happens to, so in our endocannabinoid system in our body, the cannabinoids from the cannabis and the endocannabinoids that our bodies create naturally already without the presence of it.
Can you talk about that a little more? What that is for anyone
So,
who doesn't know?
so the endocannabinoid system is basically built up like your nervous system. We have there's two types of receptors on this system. Our bodies create two cannabinoids without the presence of anything being put into our bodies. So whether it's CBD, THC, whatever, our bodies already make two of these cannabinoids, and they have found that there's a whole system in our body. So basically, when we use it, the reason why CBD does not give you that psychoactivity is because it actually blocks our receptors in the brain. So it stops that pain signal from moving from the nerves into up into the brain to release the signal of pain.
So that's what
That's
I think.
why
If you
it's
smoke too much, you can take you can take that to
right.
alter your
Right. That
anxiety. Right.
and
Yep.
that's what gives it such medicinal purposes with the
Right.
CBD. Now with
Right.
the THC, it actually binds to all these receptors, and when it binds, that's what gives us the psychoactive effect of being high,
Okay.
because it brings every damaged or what's the word? Brings damage and cells that are not in a homeostasis state of being normal, of how
Okay.
whatever their function is. um it will focus on those areas in the body and does not travel anywhere else. So it focuses on those damaged cells and it brings it back to homeostasis to balance everything back out. That's why a lot of the times a lot of us feel balanced.
Yeah.
Well, after we use it.
Yeah.
It helps with the anxiety, depression, things like that. Um, I did notice that so for women, if it's used before, they noticed increases in their drive, improved orgasm, and decrease in pain as well. Um, so that also alleviates a lot of that as well as the mental health portion of it. Um, so it's so basically the marijuana and what regulates our sexual hormones interact with each other in our endocannabinoid system. At that point, the receptors kick in and help release of the sex hormone.
Mm.
Um, it actually releases hormones and oxytocin, which is a contributor of our sexual function. So that's how they affect it. But men are kind of different because with women,
No.
yeah, with women, when it hits our receptors and it releases all those hormones and everything into into our brain and everything. With men, it can overstimulate to where it shuts down all sexual function. So in turn turns into ED.
Okay.
Yeah. So I found that very interesting that
That is
it's
interesting.
really focused, like all the research is mainly focused on the women's pleasure because the men have to be careful on how much they're doing, otherwise it'll cause problems
Do you
for
think
them.
that the different strains affect men differently, or do
I
you
would
think it
I
is
would say so.
the biological aspect of it different?
I would say that it would be a lot on the terpene profiles as well as your THC percentage of whatever it is you're taking.
Okay.
Um, because I found strains for men, I've found strains for women, and then just overall arousal. With the men, I noticed that they are more of the indica side of things, which is, make you more of the body high, make you melt into your couch or watch a movie or, eat a whole bag of potato chips. But they seem to have like a lower concentration of THC in the flower, and a lot of them state on there that in small amounts it can be beneficial, but just to be aware that large amounts will cause issues.
Okay. So you said indica is more recommended for guys when it
Right.
comes to that. Okay.
Yes. From what the strains I've seen, most of them are indicas. They might be a hybrid, but they're indica dominant hybrid, which means it hires a higher percentage of the indica than it does sativa.
Okay. They sink into the couch and say, "Get on it."
Right.
I got my snacks, and I get on it.
Right.
It's so
So,
hard.
some of the strains I have that are just for like overall arousal for men and women. There's a strain called Sweeties. It is sativa dominant. It's known for its arousing effect, even for those with low sex drive. It can produce euphoric and relaxing feelings, which is great for moods when your mood's a bit low. So it might be able to, be able to boost that for you. It also is great for relieving of stress, anxiety, and it also helps with low libido.
Mm,
This strain particularly is about 22% THC.
okay.
The next strain is a hybrid. It's just OG Kush.
What do you think that just, I know they all have different percentages, but is 22%, would you consider that a higher or a lower? Just,
So on your flour,
mhm,
this is all basically what I'm referring to is all your flour.
yeah.
Your highest percentage flour is going to be between 28 and 30%,
Okay.
and that is like your top. Now,
Okay.
once you get into concentrates, that goes into 80s and 90s just
Right.
because it's concentrated.
Concentrated.
Right. But all of these are flours. So 22 is a pretty high, level at
Okay.
this point. Like this next one is only 18%.
Okay.
So that one's gonna be not as strong, but at the same time, it might have, with it being a hybrid, if I'm not mistaken, this one was the 50-50. So
Oh,
it's,
okay.
50% indica, 50 sativa. So it would kind of help with like the stamina. Um,
And these are
it's
ones
kind
that are
of,
better for men that you're
well,
talking about right now,
these
or
are
these are
just,
just
no,
overall?
these are just overall great with arousal.
Okay.
Um, but this OG Kush, it has like an up, right? An uplifting strain, which happens to make people feel very aroused, like super aroused. Except no, it says OG Kush might make it a little sleepy, so stick to small doses at first
Okay.
because it's one of those that's really going to relax you and just put you in the right spot. So you don't want too much, otherwise you'd be going to sleep. um, so here's some for the men's arousal, which is gelato. I know that's
Okay.
a pretty popular one. Um, I've had it many times. It's a great strain if you ask me, but it's on the lower end of the percentages. It's only at
Okay.
17%. But it's a more balanced hybrid that gives the best of both worlds. It's euphoric and psychoactive high, which provides relaxation, puts you in the mood, and then due to its potency and due to its potency, use in moderation. Too much can make you too lazy to perform your duties in the bed. Mind jolting buzz, relaxing, and calming body for
As
unforgettable
it makes it a little
experiences.
weird when you're like, I feel good, let's do it, but I don't have. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna lay here.
Right. And then the next one is Trainwreck. It's going to be another hybrid. Of course, 80 to 90% of today's strains are all
Right.
going to be hybrids at this point because they've been cloned so many times and they've been spliced and grown together, and it's just never ending at this point. So most of them will be hybrids. This one has again 17% THC. It has kind of milder effects which wear off kind of quickly with this one. It's for good for on the go. So if you got a lunch break and you
A
run
quickie,
home real
quickie.
quick, this is one that would be
If you
great.
need a
Yeah,
quickie
it's
or a
good for
nooner,
quickies.
this might work for you.
Right. um, usually you get that giggly high off of the train wreck, so it's
Tell
that
me a
that kind
hot
of
mess on it.
uplifting feeling. Right, right. Um, but yeah, so that one's good for the quickies. Now on the women's arousal, I got Granddaddy Purple. This one's a lower THC content as well. It's 17%, but it's mainly
Okay.
strictly indica. So this is the one that's gonna, like relax you and have the body high and heighten those senses of that intimate touch. Um, So basically, this strain they say is good for diverting your attention from your daily distraction, setting you straight into the sex mood. You feel relaxed and reduced any possible pains you might feel during. It's a go-to strain if you want to explore all sex positions for maximum
Okay,
satisfaction.
noted. Does this come in a
So
does
that
this come in a lube
right,
form? I'm sure that a lot of them
right.
do.
I'm
It's
sure we
like,
can make it.
right?
I'm sure we can make it. Infused
Infused.
lube. This next one is honestly my absolute like number one
Okay.
pick favorite. It
Yeah,
is
that's
wedding
a lot
cake.
of favorites.
And
Mhm.
yeah, and it's indica
Okay.
leaning hybrid. So it's just past that 50-50 point, but not quite that drastic jump from one side to the other. It usually runs 23
Oh,
to 25%
okay.
on your THC. So that's another reason why it's one of my favorites. It's got a good kick to it. Um, it's relaxing, enhancing, keeping all your senses alert for a one-time experience. It has a high THC content, so one or two puffs are
Okay.
is good enough. You know what I mean? It's you don't need a lot. Just yeah.
Don't smoke it out of a smoking apparatus a lot. A lot.
Right. Or especially one with a percolator.
What kind was this? Bliss wants to know again.
What kind was that? Was the wedding cake. And so the last one that I have for the women is Girl Scout cookies, which is another big one. Now, some of these we had in our
Mhm.
meditation strains. So it's, it kind of across the board. You just got to find what really fits and, what helps you personally. One thing I do suggest in that process, if you'll start looking at your terpenes and looking at your indicas or your hybrids, or seeing if it's
Mhm.
80-20, 60-40, whatever. I would start paying attention to those because your terpenes are what bring the certain types of high that you're looking for. And so but with the Girl Scout cookies, like I said, it's an
Okay.
indica dominant. So it sits at 19%. This one is relaxing, stress relieving, pain relieving, and even anti
Oh, that's good.
inflammatory properties. Um, and it makes it best for receiving roles.
That seems like a
So be ready for action
win-win.
and be
No,
adventurous.
no,
Right?
no inflammation. Great orgasm. Very relaxed.
Right?
Seems
That's the
like seems
multi-purpose
like a
one.
win-win.
Right? But yeah,
I
but
love
that's what
that.
I
I love
got.
that. I don't really know which kind that I've taken, but there is one that I had smoked that I remember laying in bed at night. And for me, that feeling of arousal will come after I'm numb. Like I get that numb feeling. Does that make sense to you on it? I also get the same thing if I'm
Yeah.
gonna drink, which I don't drink as much, but I always know when my nose is numb to the touch, I'm like, uh oh,
Right. I'm
that's
in
how Kitty Man was born.
trouble.
That's a bad deal. But yeah, no, I enjoy the feeling of not feeling, and I say that with not with the
Right.
need to escape, but not being in pain. I think that this is something that so many times people don't realize that one, orgasms affect you in a way that you're not in pain when you have them. So whether you do it yourself or someone else is
Right.
assisting you, it relieves pain, and it's very similar in how it affects your brain and things like that. Whereas cannabis is the same way, and so I find that is pretty interesting on how that affects everybody.
Yeah.
Do you guys? Do you guys have
Most
any
definitely.
questions? This was just a lot of information, just in a little bit of time. Meow. I know it's. I think that it takes the edge off always. But if you do struggle with anxiety, especially when it comes to anything that has to do with sexuality, I think that that is a great in, inhibitor. Right? Is that the right word? Inhibitor. Um,
hmm
pink champagne. Have you heard of pink champagne?
I have not. But one resource that is a good place to find your like percentages, your terpene profiles, and things like that would be
So
leafly.com.
leafly.com. If you guys have specific questions, that might be a good resource for you guys.
Yep, Julie, you can look that up and it'll give you your profiles. It even explains how the diagrams show what your percentage on your flower and stuff are by like the diamonds or the circles or the colors and things like that.
Do I saw some questions pop up? If there is questions, feel free to write them in. There's not really anything. I say this very timidly, right? Nothing's off limits. There obviously would be. Not leaving it open for
Right.
everything, but let me know if you have any questions that we can help you with on that. So, what is your favorite strain?
My favorite is wedding
I
cake.
know several people that appreciate the wedding cake. I think we have some in our pens.
Yeah.
Girl Scout cookies.
Garlic. No.
Girl Scout
Girl
cookies.
Scout.
Girl
Yeah.
Scout
Girl
cookies.
Scout cookies.
Yeah, yeah. Girl Scout cookie is one that's really popular too. Now, what is your feeling on? I know that they have patches, and I know they have oils and things of that nature. What is your opinion on any of those being utilized in any of those? Like, I think that I've even used nose spray before, but not for the role of getting high. Yeah, not well, yeah, not
Arousal.
for arousal for sure. Nothing like a good nose spray. But for the inflammation aspect of it, because it really does. If you can find the nose spray that they have, it's not even a high dosage of the THC, but it does. If you struggle with allergies and things like that, you can use it, and the inflammation goes away in your sinuses. And so I love using it for the medicinal things as well. Yes, nose spray. Nose spray.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's with our bodies having that
Mhm.
endocannabinoid system, it's still going to function the same way as if it would if you're eating an edible, smoking it, using a topical, using a tincture. It's just the the different methods of
Mhm.
intake is what's going to really change on your high for the length of it, how potent it's going to be, things like that. So, but with our endocannabinoid system, it all, like I said, it goes just after those diseased or damaged cells
That's so
in our
interesting that your
body.
body knows that automatically. I think that's our bodies, even though
hmm
we don't like them, they are still pretty damn fascinating. They are.
They
They
are.
are.
They are.
Your friend that makes CBD for yoni. Yeah, there is different. I know that there is different lubes and things like that, and lotions and patches. I think I was given one time a candle that was THC and CBD infused, and it was a one that you just you heat it, and then you pour it out. It's for massage. So I know that they do have different things like that.
hmm
She swears that it's great. Yeah, I have heard that. No smell.
Jack Hare is another popular favorite for a lot of
Jack
people.
Hera.
That's another good one. That would probably be in my top 10.
I you smoke most of yours. I will do the smoking, but I usually at nighttime do edibles.
Well, I also take my
Oh, that's right.
capsules at
That's right.
night as well.
That's right. Yeah, I will
Yeah.
do the edibles, but it depends on I take some with melatonin, and the ones that I've been using lately, I feel like I have a hangover when I wake up in the morning from it. So I know I know that that's what it is, but I just like to go to sleep with it so much.
Again, with that
Uh-huh.
hangover feeling, again, check into your terpene profiles
That will help.
because that's where the hangover's coming in. You know, if there's one overpowering,
Right.
because there's hundreds of terpenes, you know, but you start seeing
Mhm.
the more common ones, you know, and then you can start learning, you know, when buying your if they're gummies or
Yeah,
whatever, you know, chocolates, whatever they are, you can start changing your terpene profile with your
see how it
melatonin and
goes.
see how that makes you feel the
Yeah,
next morning as
I
well.
there were certain ones I used to take, and now what we get different things a lot just to try them. But that's definitely something I've noticed. And then if
Right.
I do take a little more, then then I'm okay
Right.
laying there. Somebody touch
Right.
me. That's what I would be doing.
Right.
So
When
yes,
that
yes, it's
static kicks in,
when I
right?
feel like the way that a staticky TV looks, we're good to go.
Right.
It's always like that. I love it. Do you guys
It
have any
is.
other questions for us? So, what are some other themes that you guys want us to do? Because we'll need some theme ideas that you guys are interested in as we maneuver through. Read your mind. Read. You've always been a really good cook. Oh yeah, your taste still isn't back. It's gone. Stress. The best ones for stress. Yeah, that is a good one.
That's a
If you
good
guys
one.
have ideas, let us know and we will formulate around that because we're going to try to do one twice a month, maybe. We're hoping. We're hoping. You can't see comments. I don't know. I don't know.
I
Oh,
think
is
that's
that
him.
hemp? Okay, it's hemp.
The way the messages are coming
It's the way
in, I think it's
she
him.
types and texts everywhere. It's that way.
Right.
All right. So if you guys have any questions, let us know. I will get this over onto Spotify for any of you guys that did miss the initial part or you want to listen for some of the names. Can you go over the names again, real quick, for everyone?
Yeah. Let me turn back to my page here. So it was Sweeties, OJ Kush,
OG
OG
Kush.
Kush. And for men, it was Gelato and Trainwreck.
Gelato.
And then for women, it's Granddaddy Purple, Wedding Cake, and Girl Scout
Granddaddy
Cookies.
Purple. I'm not going to say anything.
Honestly, I'm
Are you
not a
not?
fan of the purples. They have a really weird taste to them. Like the terpenes that they have in them, I mean, they're kind of like, you know, eating deer meat. You know, it has
Okay.
that wild
Yeah,
gamey
yeah.
taste. You know what I mean? Like it has a totally different
Than the
taste
others.
than any other
I think it's
strain. Yeah,
hard to
I
beat
don't
wedding cake though. That is one that everybody likes and that it tastes so much better, I think. Yeah, it tastes like
like
cake.
cake.
It does. That's
Yeah.
I have one that was I think fruit punch, and then I've had some that are peach, and I do not care for the peach like lighty fruits, but and I don't care for those.
Right.
But I don't mind the grape. I do like some of the grape, but it just kind of depends. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So. Good for body pain. You want to get? She's such a mess. All right, guys. Well, that was round 3. Let us know if you have any other themes that you want us to do, and we will happily do them and hopefully get together to do them about twice a month. So we will get this all, get y'all educated on it. So I hope you guys have an amazing night. I will go ahead and end this. And if you have questions, reach out to myself or Rebel. Okay. All right, guys. Bye.